if you are cultivating the personal accountability, the degree to which you are manifesting personal accountability with your individual employees and with your workforce, personal accountability is actually driving up both engagement and business results, performance. So let's talk about personal accountability a little bit, because there's a lot of baggage around that concept, around that term. When we talk about personal accountability, this goes back to sort of what Sai just talked about, is that we're not, this is where the approach starts to really shift. She talked about, changing circumstances being sort of a hollow endeavor. Doesn't work. Changing mindsets are what's key, and the mindset that we believe is most critical is personal accountability. So when we define personal accountability, it is the mindset that my results happen because of what I do, not in spite of my circumstances. That I control my destiny. I choose my destiny. And even further, I sort of create or manifest my destiny. That's sort of personal accountability at its finest. And so most of you probably so far are with me on the definition, but I think accountability as a word has been getting kind of abused. We've started to sort of twist it, and it's starting to lose some of its meaning. So when we talk about accountability, we might say, as an example, you'll find someone will say, like something goes wrong. Like you're in a project or your team and something goes wrong. You drop the ball on something, and someone stands up and says, "My bad, it's on me. Won't happen again." And we'll say, "See, there's an accountable person." Well, either that's an accountable person or it's a tactic. I know personally from my corporate experience that was a fantastic tactic for ending the Inquisition. Someone's coming on a witch hunt to find out what went wrong and who's responsible, and especially in HR, they love to do that, right? I mean, they love to come in and find out what we got hidden under the covers. If you just say, "Yep, my bad. I dropped the ball, I screwed up, won't happen again," everybody stops. There's no more finger pointing, no more blame. But unless your actions follow up on that, unless you take steps to make sure it doesn't happen again, that's a hollow promise. I'll give you another example of where accountability is being abused. Does anybody work with the person that they make a mistake this week and they say, "Yep, my fault, my bad," and you're like, "Okay, good, wow, there's an accountable person." Next week they make the same mistake. You're like, what happened? "Oh, my bad, my fault." Next week they make the same mistake again. Anybody work with that person? That's not accountability, that's laziness. Not accountability. First time it looks like accountability, but it's what happens afterwards. So we think we need to revisit and return to what personal accountability really means. And what we believe personal accountability means is made up of 4 factors. This mindset is comprised of 4 individual factors that collectively represent what personal accountability means. And those 4 factors: commitment, resilience, ownership, and continuous learning. When we talk about commitment in personal accountability, commitment is this front end part. It's what happens before we go out and have an opportunity to either deliver great or poor results. This is the proactive mindset that, I've been given this task, or I have these results to drive. I'm going to take action to make sure I am successful before I even start. Right? Commitment is forward-leaning. It's those employees that they've decided they're going to succeed before they ever start. A lot of times we overlook this part. We get focused on accountability. When we think about accountability, we often think about accountability only after the fact. After we've already seen results, good or bad, and seeing whether you're going to take ownership for your role in those. So commitment is incredibly important. It's getting people signed up. It's being in the game before you even start. Second is resilience. And resilience is really that ability to stay the course. The best way I can describe the way I remember resilience is by thinking of these things they call, I think they call them bop bags. Anybody have one of those as a kid? Like they used to have Bozo the Clown ones, like you blew them up, and they're like inflatable, and they had a weight in the bottom, and you got boxing gloves, and you hit them, and they go, it falls over, but then it pops right back up. Has anybody seen these before? Right? That's what resilience looks like. Thank you, ma'am. May I have another? Boom. Right? I don't have enough resources. Boom, doesn't matter, I'll find another way. My manager doesn't give me any feedback. Boom, hit the floor, right back up. That's okay, I will go get my own feedback. Boom, my coworkers aren't committed to doing quality work. That's all right, I can help them with that. I'll coach, I'll reach out, I'll do what I can. Bam, right back up. That's resilience. Oftentimes we overlook that as an element of personal accountability. But even if you are committed and you're taking ownership, if you're not resilient, when something gets in your way, it gets very easy to quit. Right? So resilience is a critical piece of personal accountability. Ownership is the part that we often think of when we think of accountability. Ownership is really that piece, hey, it's on me. Here's my role in it. I'm owning good or bad. Something goes good, I'm not afraid to take credit for, wow, yeah, my team did a good job. Here's what we did to get there. On the other end, it's really stepping up when things go wrong. And ownership can be painful, right? This is the part of accountability that people don't like. It makes us squirm because when you take ownership, when things go bad, there can be some pain and there can be some significant loss, right? But ownership is the piece that we sort of all understand. The final piece of accountability, we believe, fourth factor, is continuous learning. And that is really just viewing that every experience is an opportunity to learn, that we're extracting learnings and lessons from everything that happens.